British Army may have no choice but to enlist citizens as country not ready for Russian threat, says former colonel. I'm not going. I'm not. Oh, you go to prison. You go to prison. Okay, I'll go to prison. That's fine. No Russian ever called me a Nazi. Right. I'm not because it's for your country, it's for your people. No, it's not. It's for the government, and my government hates me and has spent like the last 10 years trying to destroy me, trying to destroy my culture, destroy my livelihood, get rid of all of my human rights. Oh no, if the Russians come over and take over, they'll be arresting people for posting things and all that. It's a case of, it's not even a case of a shit sandwich and a giant douche. It's a shit sandwich and a shit sandwich. Just one of them speaks Russian. That's literally it. This was the problem. Where are all my fellow patriots at, boys? Yeah, well, you made them illegal, essentially. A former colonel in the British Army says the country may have to opt for conscription in the event of a conflict with Russia, and claimed the military's recruiting system has failed miserably. Why not? How? What happened to the all whites need not apply stuff? What happened to all of that? I thought that was successful. Britain may have no choice but to introduce conscription as the country remains absolutely not ready to defend Europe against the threat from Russia, a former colonel says. Pardon me. Downing Street said service would remain voluntary after the outgoing head of the British Army, General Sir Patrick Sanders, said earlier this week the UK should train and equip a citizen army. But Britain's former... Oh, you're going to give us guns? Take guns, immediately go AWOL. They're not going to find you because there's a war going on. And then after it, I'll say, What SA-80? What are you talking about? What is it? It says here you signed out 12. No, I didn't. I mean, if I was going to pinch one, it wouldn't be the SA-80. I fired the SA-80. It's a fucking dog shit gun. I don't like it. But Britain's former top NATO commander, General Sir Richard Sheriff, told Sky News a day later that it could be time to think the unthinkable and look carefully at conscription. Well, isn't it convenient that we've imported a lot of people? So we've boosted it. We've got a lot of fighting age men in this country. Oh, we've got a lot of fighting young men in this country. You know, just what country do they actually serve? Don't worry about it. Give them guns anyway. I'm sure it will be fine. On Sunday, a former British Army Colonel, Tim Collins, agreed that it shouldn't be ruled out. The recruiting system that the armed forces has failed miserably, Mr. Collins, who is a parliamentary candidate for the Ulster Unionist Party. Ah, yes. I see why he enjoys the British Armed Forces very much. Told Sunday Morning with Trevor Phillips on Sky News. I think what we have to do is to wake up and realise that Ukrainians are fighting for their liberty through the illegal invasion from Russia, and if they do not win, we are next. Yeah, where they jailed all the preachers and fucking killed Gonzalo Lira. Oh man, because he was saying naughty things about the Ukraine. Yeah, freedom. Ooh, freedom. Where you get jailed for the things you say. And where your 14-year-old son gets dragged off the street by soldiers to go die in the trenches. Yeah, that one. Did everybody see that they sent a Down syndrome guy to the front line? They sent a guy with Down syndrome to the front line. That was disgusting. That was disgraceful. And all the soldiers were fucking with him and stuff. I didn't like that. That was fucked up. And secondly, we are not making provision for the case where they would fail and they collapse. We are next, and we need to be doing both of those things. Well, that was the end of the article there. He said he took a battalion as commanding officer that was 250 undermanned, but still managed to recruit to full strength within 2 years. He said it can be done, but current contracts have clearly failed. And if they can't recruit, we'll have to go to conscription, he added. I'd prefer not to, but that's the only alternative. Armed Forces Minister James Heppey said on Thursday, talk of the UK introducing conscription if NATO goes to war with Russia is nonsense. Carlos Del Toro, the US Navy Secretary, has urged the UK to reassess the size of its armed forces given the threats that exist today. Downing Street defended the government spending on defence, saying Britain has been Washington's partner of choice in its strikes against Houthi rebels in the Red Sea because of its military strength. Now, like I said at the start of the video, if it comes to conscription, I am not going. I am not dying for this dogshit government that hates me. Right? I'm not dying for your globalist shite. I'm not dying for any of that stuff. Oh, what about if the Russians take over? Literally, what difference would it make? Oh, they'll arrest us they'll ban political opposition, they'll rig elections, blah, blah. Again, what difference would it make? Right? This is the problem, is you made yourself indistinguishable from the enemy. Right? You hate me just as much as they do. So, I don't care, because whoever fucking wins, nothing changes. Right? So, what I'm going to do is still try and be alive at the end of it so that I can be there for my wife and daughters. Right? That's what I'm going to do. Oh, throw me in jail. Throw me in fucking jail then. I'll come out alive at the end of it. Right? Because the Russians aren't going to do anything to me. They're going to have conscientious objector. Yeah, I didn't want to fight, and they'll just fucking let me go. Hopefully, unless they try and conscript me as well. I wouldn't fight for them either. Well, fuck, I'm not fighting for fucking anybody. I'm not fighting, I'm someone that doesn't like states, so I'm not going to fight for a state. I'm not dying in some trench somewhere so that some rich cunts can get richer while they take away my rights. Right? I'm not doing anything like that for people like that. Or what if they just shoot you? That's fine. I would very, very much rather, instead of dying in some trench somewhere for all the globalist shite, die standing on my own doorstep after telling you to go fuck yourself. Right? That's the way that I would like to go out. It's just an absolute joke. And basically, a lot of people say it's scaremongering. It probably is scaremongering. Right? But the problem that they have, though, is the government doesn't like white people, doesn't like our culture, doesn't even like our flag, where people are getting reported for non-crime hate incidents for having, like, the English flag or the Union Jack, like, hanging on their car or on their van or something like that. Basically, they've done everything they can to destroy patriotic people for, like, the last 10 years. But now they're like, hey, we're all my patriots. Hey, yeah, rule Britannia. Britannia rules the waves, not the ones in the channel, apparently. But, hey, I realise that we've made you all feel like shite, and your neighbourhood has changed somewhat in, like, the last 10 years, and you've got ULEZ cameras up the arse, but do you want to fancy dying for that? Like, no one's going to die for that. You made things awful. You made things terrible. You made things to the point where, I am a touch of a nationalist, right? In the case of, I want my nation, as in, that begins at my garden, right? That's what I want. I don't want anybody else in charge of me, because everybody keeps making very bad decisions that affect me very badly. Like, for example, starting World War fucking 3, right? I don't want any of that. I'm not fighting for this government, and you'll be hard-pressed to find anybody who will, because the native population, you have demonized the shit out of them and essentially fucked up their country. So basically, everyone's going to be looking around going, why would I fight for this? Why would I fight for this? Right? You're going to be you're going to be very hard pushed to find anyone that will. Right? This isn't going to be like World War II, where everyone's like, oh, and like signing up, or like 9/11, before anyone knew what 9/11 really was, and everyone was like, oh, and like signed up and all that type of stuff. You're not going to get that again, trust me. You've spent so long telling the native population that you fucking hate them and eroding their rights. They're not going to fight for you. I'm not going to fight for you. When shit hits the fan, I'm going to be at home doing what I can to protect my family. Right? That's what matters to me. My family. Not the government. Not the globalist fucking bullshit. Not the fucking Russians. Right? None of that stuff. What matters to me is my family. Right? And I'm not letting you take me away from them so that I can go and die in some fucking trench so that you can keep arresting people for tweets.